Apologize for that little delay, everybody. I kind of screwed up. Yeah, I must have hit a wrong button or what. I'm not sure. But yes, we're back on, and that last stream, I'll link this stream into that last video. But yeah, what do you guys think of moving on now? The whole Trigglypuff thing. Trigglypuff, as everybody's calling her. She is an anti-Milo big time. What do you think about it?
I think we've gotten to a stage. Oh, and by the way, there's a bit of echo going on.
Okay, give me a second here. There we go.
All right.
Go ahead.
I would like to quote Roger Ebert's review of Battlefield Earth. I looked at Trigglypuff in mounting gloom, realizing that I was witnessing something historic. A moment that is going to be the punchline for these sort of easily offended types for years to come. And looking on my usual channels for social media in the last few days, I think I was right. Mm-hmm. I do find it incredibly hilarious how the people who are supposed to be this level of mature and enlightened turn into that at the moment somebody disagrees.
Yep.
And then they try and insist and swear up and down that they're not a cult.
Oh yeah, that is so true. Oh my god, I can't freaking believe this happened. Okay, there we go. Just had to retweet it out. Holy shit.
Live streaming, never without a botch.
Yep, there's always a botch. One way or another, there's always going to be something stupid that happens. So, yeah, let's get back into it. The whole thing with the Trigglypuff, this is how I viewed this going, is one of them was going to be making themselves very embarrassing. It was going to be one embarrassing thing that one of them was going to do. And let's just face it, Trigglypuff finally did the most embarrassing thing she could have done.
Because
started holding a temper tantrum. It was one of these days they were going to embarrass themselves big time, and it ended up on Fox News. Trigglypuff screaming, "Get the hate speech off of campus! Get the hate speech off of campus! Get the hate speech off of campus!" type of thing. She said that, and it was like, really, really. I was shocked that she would actually go that far. It was funny though, but it was very cringeworthy too.
When I see it,
mm-hmm.
the thing that I end up that I have to keep reminding one thing that I have to keep reminding myself whenever I see it is that this is somebody who is supposedly a grown adult.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm. She's a junior or senior in college. Senior, I think, in college. So, yeah, the college is supposed to be a place for intellectuals. It's supposed to be a place where you're supposed to have higher learning, challenge your ideas, get a better job, that kind of thing. But what I've been seeing mostly is just this whole group of temper tantrum 10-year-olds that are screaming like babies all the time just because they don't get their way. They're literally screaming, crying, I don't know anymore. this whole situation with Trigglypuff was a Milo Yiannopoulos Dangerous Saget tour, which is.
I still regret that I wasn't able to make the one that happened in my hometown.
Oh yeah, but yeah, But yeah, the whole thing with the Trigglypuff. Oh, hello, Demented. I'll ask you a question here. What's your opinion on Trigglypuff?
She wasn't it. She's funny. She's just. How do I say this nicely?
Don't.
She's a moron.
Yep.
I watched the entire hour and a half. What do you want to call it? Debate? I don't even know what to call it. It's speech, talk, whatever. And all three of them were amazing. Christina H. Summer was amazing. Milo and Steven Crowder. Crowder. I think was the best of them. You know, that 4-minute speech he gave. Oh, you know, you get up in the morning. The only reason you took the class was to get laid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god, yes, it's true. That's basically how they're. That's basically what they're doing. Is these young guys are doing it just because they think they can get a woman. And I love how he says your boner literally clears out an entire room. And it was like one of the greatest parts of that speech. And this whole speech, it was like I said before, this is a part of the dangerous faggot tour Milo's been doing, and it's been exposing college kids for being, let's just say, giant babies. They've been acting like giant babies.
In this case, far more literally than you probably anticipated.
I showed that to a few friends, and they were like, "Is this a?" They were like, "You shouldn't laugh at this. This woman is probably mentally disabled. She's probably has like Down syndrome or something like that." Someone actually said
Hold
that.
on.
My original thought was like,
it doesn't excuse her. Okay, I'm sorry.
But it could just mean like they could just have some form of a mental disorder that they've had since birth, and that was my original thought. It was like,
no,
I'm not going to laugh at this originally. I thought this was someone with the brain of a child at first, and then I looked further into it. Then we looked further into it, and I'm like holding it back. And finally, the whole thing is this is in fact an adult woman that.
What about some of the guys who ask questions at the end? Yeah, especially like the guy with what was it? What was it, like a tank top or something? I need to watch that again, because at the end they do questions, and there's this one guy in this like tank top or something asked the question, and then when he didn't like the answer, he got pissed off or something.
And they told him off. It was funny, so.
Yeah.
But Crowder, he held himself really well in that thing. I mean, Crowder is a bit of an extreme person. He's always been extreme. And, I mean, I don't agree with some of his opinions or anything like that, but all right, it's something I was looking at something on Twitter. But yes, Crowder is a bit of an extreme person, but I respect him for what he does. He has the balls to go out there and tell these college kids off, and he did it. He told the college kids off, and I respect him for it.
When it comes to him, I think I'll say this. I used to think he was a dumb fuck, but so many other dumb fucks have come along that are worse than him. He's moved up the card without doing anything.
Yep. I've always thought of him as, oh great, there's that extreme dumbass. I just used to push politics to the side. It never had any effect on me till the whole Gamergate controversy started, and it was like, I didn't want any part of these dumbasses. I didn't want any part of the SJWs. I avoided them like a plague because I would live longer and not worry about a heart attack from all the freaking stress it causes because these idiots. So I tried avoiding them for the longest time. Anita Sarkeesian, she's going to blurt out of things, but I predicted this back in 2011. She's going to go the way of Jack Thompson. And guess what? She's abandoning the whole tropes versus women thing. She went the way of Jack Thompson.
Now, if only she can get disbarred.
She had a lawyer. Oh. But that was funny, like, Sarkeesian Effect documentary, Jack Thompson actually gave that message for, you're lucky you're not a lawyer, or you would be disbarred. But yeah, moving back on to Trigglypuff, This thing made Fox News. This thing right here made Fox News. You know Fox News, the exchange.
And I'm sure they handled the story as objectively as they could.
Yeah, college student holds a temper tantrum at a freedom of speech event. That's all they said.
What's objective about somebody throwing a temper tantrum in public?
I don't.
Sorry, actually, let me rephrase that. What is subjective about somebody throwing a temper tantrum in public?
Nothing.
Well, they could spin it that, that she felt threatened by the obviously dangerous three people on stage.
I said this to a friend. They're like, but they could have been mean to her, and I wouldn't like. She didn't have to go to that event. This was set up by conservatives, and they set this up for those three. They set this up at the school for those three. If Milo comes to the University of Montana, I might go.
Yeah, do like stage live stream it.
See the dumbasses that are there at this college right now. I'm hoping here's hoping Milo comes to Missoula, Montana at the University of Montana. It's a liberal arts college. I would love to see meet him and Christina Hoff Sommers. That would be awesome.
Yep.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
and they're 1/3 into it.
As I said, this live stream the event. Do like Stitch.
At least when he was in Minnesota, that I was able to see that one streamed, and there were a lot more people outside raising a stink. But to be fair, it's cold. It's going to be cold. It was early in the year. It's going to be cold. Not many people are going to be raising that level of a stink when it's in the winter. It's like, why would I go out and protest? It's fucking cold outside.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Shouldn't there be 7 stages?
No, it's just 5 stages.
There's only 5 stages of grief.
It's a joke on the 5 stages of grief. Denial, anger.
I thought there were 7. Sorry,
it's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And it's the 5 stages of Trump instead. And I'm gonna change denial. It's gonna be Jeb Bush. Anger. Denial is either gonna be Jeb Bush or Ted Cruz. Anger's gonna be the protesters. Bargaining's gonna be Jeb Bush. Denial will be Ted Cruz. Anger will be the protesters, the violent protesters. Bargaining will be Jeb Bush. Depression will be... I don't know who I'm going to put under depression just yet. And acceptance will be John Boehner.
Bernie Sanders is the person? I don't know.
I don't know who will be under depression. Maybe Bernie Sanders, but...
yeah, I just said that. Yeah, he looks depressed. He looks depressed all the time.
Yeah, and acceptance will be John Boehner. And this came from a Norwegian guy, and I'm giving him credit for this one. I got the idea from him. He came up with this idea, and it's a freaking hilarious idea. So hats off to you, Carl, for coming up with the 5 stages of Trump. I just decided to do the picture. So, so what's moving on now? The whole thing with going back to... the college campuses and stuff like that. If Milo does come to an area where you guys are at, I mean, you weren't able to go to yours, Mildred. What about you, Cave Dweller? If Milo was anywhere in town going to college where you were around, would you ever go to it?
Well, he apparently was in a college at New Jersey once. That I found out later, after it happened. And, even if I knew about it earlier, I probably couldn't have gone anyway. So.
Oh.
I mean, if he comes back to a college here, I guess.
Yeah. But that whole situation's crazy. And any final thoughts on Trigglypuff and that whole event? Mildred?
I think that for a good amount of time in the foreseeable future, this is going to be the equivalent of Big Red, as far as you are going to see memes of this shit for quite some time.
Yep. She has now became a meme. And holding a temper tantrum and getting caught on camera. That's nothing but your own fault. The guy was the man or woman, whoever was moving that camera around, was basically whoever that was moving that camera around was getting shots of was literally just she probably saw them with the camera, so she knew she was being taped, and she held that tantrum when Christina Summers was talking. And it's no one's fault but her own. She knew she was being recorded, but she did it anyway. She held that tantrum. What about you, Cave Dweller? What's your final thoughts on that whole event with Yiannopoulos, Summers, and Crowder?
The internet never forgets, and if she ever does get married, she's going to have a lot of explaining to do.
Yep, so that's the whole event with the Trigglypuff meltdown at the Crowder, Yiannopoulos, and Summers event. Yeah, so moving on now. Oh my God, I'm still laughing at that whole event. But moving on now, Tila Tequila. Let's talk about her. We all know she said some crazy, crazy shit on Twitter. We all know that. We've seen the craziest things come out of her. Her saying Hitler did nothing wrong, all that stuff. But just recently, her account got suspended. What's your opinions on that?
She was a very amazing troll. Especially since it was a case of it's one of those cases where it ends up being so ridiculous it warps back around and becomes amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What about you, Cave Dweller? Got any quick thoughts on it?
Not really. I mean, she was fun to laugh at, but now we don't get to laugh at anymore.
My opinion is this is going to continue to happen. Twitter's going to suspend more and more accounts, and they're losing money left and right because of stupid shit like this. And it's not just Tila Tequila. This is a thing that's ongoing with Twitter. Their Trust and Safety Council. I'm not trying to defend Tila Tequila. I think she's an idiot, but it's the ongoing issue with Twitter's Trust and Safety Council. That's the biggest problem here.
Hey, at least Tila gave us some eye candy.
Yep. And what I've noticed from the people that are doing the Trust and Safety Council, they're just as big bullies as the so-called bullies that they're having accounts suspended with.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. What about you, Cave Dweller? What do you think about that? About Trust and Safety Council and Twitter? Okay.
Dave?
You there? You there, Demented? Oh well. Going back now. I haven't had that much to discuss. I was hoping there had been a little bit more people on this week to discuss a lot more bullshit that's been going on. But yeah, I think that's about it with the bullshit. I don't know. Is there anything else that happened this week in bullshit?
Oh yeah, there was the Chinese room.
Chinese room. Yes, Chinese room. Chinese room accused the Witcher developers of being sexist. I
went off on them because I found the whole thing to be hilarious, simply due to the fact that the Chinese room has. Well, I find it funny that they were attacking them because they're essentially because at least the Chinese room actually makes games. I mean, not the Chinese room, but CD Projekt Red, the developers of The Witcher and the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077, at least makes actual games.
Yep.
Because what?
And here's the image of the tweet that they actually said. Let me close down the 5 stages of Trump for this one. Entire screenception. Here we go. but just as sexist if that image is anything to go by. Cyberpunk is more ambitious than The Witcher on every single front. GameSpot has been saying that. And people like Sith Lord Sabrina and a bunch of others were literally jumping down on these. Sexy is not sexist.
Now, to be fair, the Chinese room has kind of been my whipping boy for many years because of the overratedness that is Dear Esther and the suckage that was Amnesia, a Machine for Pigs.
Yeah, the first Amnesia. Did they do the first Amnesia, or was that something else?
That was done by Frictional Games, who had before that done Penumbra and more recently done Soma.
Oh, okay. So the Chinese room is a shitty company anyway.
Well, they like to talk about how they are passionate about storytelling in games, and yet they have an adversarial attitude towards having storytelling having gameplay mechanics.
What I've been noticing that it's just a walking simulator the entire time. Heck, even Gone Home had more interaction than Dear Esther. That's bad for me to say that, but Gone Home even had more interaction in that game than Dear Esther did. All you did on Dear Esther, all you could really do is walk or turn on and off your flashlight. That's all you could do in Gone Home, or no, Dear Esther.
Well, the other big problem is that a Machine for Pigs is basically what happens when you take away everything that made the original Amnesia game special and replace it with nothing but journal entries. Now, personally, the whole concept of the journal entry is something that I'm very, very sick of in games these days.
Same here. I'm just. What were you saying?
But especially the written version because it breaks diegesis.
Yeah. And
their version, the inventory management gone, health and sanity gone. Exploring the environment and using hiding places gone. But what did we get instead?
I never bought that game, so I couldn't tell you.
We got journal entries. Nothing but fucking journal entries.
And that's why they never made a custom maps or anything like that for it. Custom stories. I don't think there was a single custom story. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think
you couldn't do one. There wasn't the infrastructure to do it.
And plus, the original Amnesia had a better custom story in it.
Not to mention, it's very hard to sell the monsters that you've got in the thing as being pitiable one moment and scary the next.
When I first found out about the name of Machine for Pigs, I thought they were going after that PewDiePie joke about the pig that he always carried around.
I'm still here. I'm just doing some chores.
Okay. Yeah, but I always thought because PewDiePie basically made the game freaking famous, it also made him famous. It was like a mutual thing between those two. The original Amnesia, after all, not the new one. That's what I've noticed. It's very comical though when you see it though, like the whole thing with the PewDiePie, for instance. There were a lot of things that I thought that like the whole thing with like a Machine for Pigs was just like taking on the joke about there being a stupid pig that PewDiePie flung around all the time.
That would imply that they actually had a clue.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, but that's a Chinese room for you. Dear Esther wasn't a good game. Whatever the hell they also did, Machine for Pigs, also not a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And
as it was pointed out, these are the same people that tried to claim that Metal Gear Solid 5 they tried to pull Godwin when it came to the game in their little article that actually got published.
what'd they actually do?
They tried to say it was Nazi propaganda.
Oh God, Godwin's Law, you dumbasses. Ugh. That's what I think about it. But yeah, moving on now. Just the whole thing. Any final thoughts on the Chinese room?
I think that the Chinese room.
There's a game called the Chinese Room.
No,
that's the name of the development studio.
Oh, I got.
You know, the ones that created a machine for pigs and Dear Esther.
Yeah, I just never knew their names.
Yeah. It's so funny about that, too. Chinese Room, Dear Esther was originally a mod for Gary's Mod. Those who don't know, I'm going to look for it.
I'd imagine that the Gary's Mod community treats said mod as in the school of we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think it's really Gary's Mod that did it. I know someone did it originally.
Well, no, it's not Gary's Mod, but they probably used Gary's Mod to make the thing, right?
Yeah, no, it was made off of the Source engine, and it was originally developed by the Chinese Room. And then they got together a bunch of money and made this much more elaborate game. Don't get me wrong, scenery was amazing, but that was the only good thing about it was the scenery.
I did not get when I first saw the original Star Trek movie, aka Star Trek: The Motionless Picture.
Yeah.
I railed on it for having I railed on it for having all atmosphere and no substance. I saw the same thing with Dear Esther. And if I'm not willing to give Star Trek any slack for pulling that, what makes Dear Esther think they can get away with it?
Oh God, no! I'm just saying that's the only good thing about it. Great scenery, shitty everything else. The story never made sense, and they're trying to bring it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well. For the love of God, do not buy it if it comes out on those consoles.
I know, but so someone could say that you missed the point of the game. I never played it before.
I played through the thing several times so I could get what the hell that guy was saying. He wasn't making any sense at all. It sounded like a Vlog Brothers video where they use these big words and they make no absolute freaking sense at all.
Okay, who wants to buy the game for me?
Trust me, I ain't gonna pay $10 for that shit again. I paid like $3 on it when I got it.
I suppose there are other means of acquiring such
Go right ahead, man. You want to give it more power to you. But I don't condone that kind of stuff. But I don't condone that kind of shit. But it's up to you. If you want to do it, go right ahead. But yeah, moving on now. Any final thoughts about like the whole thing with the Chinese room and the sexism angle that they're trying to go on?
What isn't sexist to these people?
I don't know.
Sexism is in everything. And, you gotta point it all out.
Everything is sexist, racist.
Buy my Bitcoin.
I don't know. It must be my mic. There we go. I fixed my microphone. There we go. Go right ahead now.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Still echoing.
The hell?
Maybe it's the other guy.
It's picking it up. It's me. I'm gonna drop my microphone volume. Configure speech recognition. No, it's not it. Properties. There we go. Levels. How about now?
Echo. Still echoing.
What the hell?
Yeah.
There we go. Hopefully that'll fix it.
Well, this will be for the real if you do League of Extraordinary Assholes Botchamania edition.
Yeah, basically.
Testing.
Go right ahead. I moved my mic way far away from my
Okay, you know what? Trigglypuff is a beautiful, strong, independent woman who deserves praise. I can't say that with a straight face. Never mind. Well, you want some? Yeah, to get back to that, wh- who was she? What was she, like a Muslim or something?
What?
There was this one woman,
Oh yes, that Arab
that
woman.
Muslim, Arab, whatever the hell, I forgot. I couldn't really tell who it was, but
She met them during that part. Yeah. Oh my god, my stream turned into nonsense once again. We talk nonsense. Sorry about that, guys. I still have things to work out. There we go. I think I fixed. I put headphones on this time.
Trigglypuff.
Yeah.
Sadly, the noise that she makes is not going to be enough to make me fall asleep.
Oh god, that'll keep you awake for days. That voice. You'd be awake like.
Have you seen her Facebook and her Twitter? I mean,
no, because I value my sanity.
Yeah, well, she deleted her Facebook. I don't know if she has a Twitter or not, but I know she deleted her Facebook.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
damage control.
Mm-hmm.
Too late.
You can't damage control this whole event though with Trigglypuff. But yeah. Oh my god. I still can't get that out of my head, and my mind's a little lost right now. My apologies, everybody. I should have gotten better control of myself during the stream. All right. Besides all that bullshit, the whole thing with the Trigglypuff, 5 stages of Trump, the 5 stages of Trump, and of course the Trigglypuff event and Chinese room and all that Tila Tequila and all that bullshit. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have anything else to say on those issues. Anything else you want to talk about, Cave Dweller, before I move into what the wrestling part of the stream?
Not really. I'm not particularly into wrestling, but I guess
okay.
I don't know. Just go ahead. Go into wrestling.
All right. Recently, just tonight, WWE Payback is coming out. They do pay-per-view like events events anymore. It's not pay-per-views. You couldn't say pay-per-view with a straight face anymore because you're not paying $40 per show. So
well, to be fair, the shows aren't really worth $40.
No, they never have been. But they used to charge like $55 for them.
Now,
which was a robbery.
Now, as far as to be quite honest, if I had to charge $40 for watching a New Japan pay-per-view, I'd definitely pay that because they at least know how to do it.
Yeah. NXT, they know how to do their shit as well, but WWE hasn't been. And Payback is this week, so what are you give me 1 second here to go to get the... Sorry about that. I'm trying to get the list of matches tonight. First match. Let's talk about the pre-show. Kalisto versus Ryback. Oh, God. It's a pre-show match. What do you expect?
Kalisto... I seriously doubt they're going to do... They're going to have the title change hands on a pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just seems really, really stupid, especially since the pre-show is supposed to be the appetizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think there will really be a title change here, but it will be a match. It will just be a match. It's a pre-show match. Mm-hmm. And then first matchup is Miz versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship. Oh my God.
When it comes to that whole thing, first off, if they ever need somebody to do for the films to do a James Bond wannabe, they need to get Cesaro for that.
Yeah.
because of how much much they're having him look like Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the whole with and then Miz, out of all people, getting that title again. He has the stupidest gimmick I've ever seen in years. That whole
actually, I can't really say that because I've seen some whoppers.
Okay, yes. The movie Star one was one of the dumbest, but yes, we've seen dumber ones as well.
Now, I think this is probably the closest he's come to being comfortable with a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
However, part of the problem that I'm having with the whole thing is just the way that it was built. Because Ryder gets the whole message when it came to WrestleMania was people getting wins too late
yes, it was like Ryder, for instance. He should have had that instead of getting kicked in the balls by Torres. He should have won a match. He should have won the Intercontinental Championship that night instead of getting kicked in the groin by Torres, which is still one of the worst WrestleManias. WrestleMania 27.
Actually, that was 28 when that happened.
It was
27 was bad on its own.
Yes, but 28 was just as bad though. That whole once-in-a-lifetime gimmick and all that bullshit. But yes, Ryder should have had his title match that WrestleMania, not 32.
Mm-hmm.
He should have had it 5 years ago, but they didn't give it to him. And there they go. They screwed up. And then they had the whole Bring Out Maurice thing, and which...
I do think that they make a good pairing. That's probably why they're married.
Yep. Yeah, and the whole thing with Miz and Maurice, it's just like that is like one of the most annoying team ups ever, and I think it's perfect. I think that's what they're trying to go for, is annoy the fans, kind of like with the Rusev angle.
But I can't help but deny that it seems like part of the reason that they went with that whole thing was because of the fact that Maurice is on Total Divas.
Oh yeah, I think that's the reason why they wanted Total Divas, which is still a mistake, even to this day. It's still a mistake, but I know why they do it. They're trying to get casual viewers over here.
Except they effectively lost the casual audience by putting way too much emphasis, by putting way too much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
on their weekly shows.
Yeah, like too much wrestling.
No, too much stuff. Period.
Yeah,
3 hours is way too goddamn long.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And moving on now. So who do you think is going to come out on top on this messed up match, Miz or Cesaro?
I think the finish is going to be Miz, with Miz coming out on top with some interference from Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro, if they're smart, they're gonna let him get his spots in. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna go around.
We're gonna see a King of Swing moment.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see Miz swinging around, and I'm thinking it's gonna be disqualification because of Maurice, but.
It's either going to be disqualification or win via distraction.
Yes, and that's moving on to the next round with the jobber versus with the current jobber Dolph Ziggler versus future jobber Baron Corbin. Because I see Baron Corbin ending up jobbing. I see it. I don't see him going
Here's the prop. Baron Corbin, in my personal opinion, was brought up way too early.
Yes. He has the same background as Roman Reigns. Very much the same background.
Yeah, he was, and he kept. I think the sole reason that he was brought in as early as he was is because size.
Oh yes, and Roman felled. I see that big time. Roman Reigns had failed the WWE because nobody gets behind him. And I expect to see Corbin come out on top because Ziggler is basically a jobber now. He's been jobbing for the past year.
They effectively killed. They had a golden opportunity when it came to
Survivor Series,
and they botched it.
Survivor Series 2014. One of his best matches he ever had. Possibly one of his best matches, and they basically let the momentum burn out without adding fuel to it. He had this fire going, and they let it die. And I'm just hoping Ziggler goes somewhere better. Maybe Lucha Underground or ROH. Here's hoping, because they would know what to do with him. WWE doesn't. Moving on now, Corbin does come out on top, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on now, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. This is one that started in NXT.
Yeah, this is one case of a match that This is going to be one of the few matches I'm actively looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. I am very, very, very afraid for this match. I don't think. For those who are wondering why I'm so afraid for this match, it's this right here. Because WWE has been screwing over the NXT talent for so long. They've been screwing this talent up, and yeah, they've basically been throwing them all under the bus, doing whatever they can. I mean, come on, look at Paige, for instance. That woman is now
better example. Look at Tyler Breeze.
Yes, Tyler Breeze as well. Tyler Breeze, I think Cesaro seemingly started on NXT. I'm not sure, but I think Cesaro started on NXT. Look at where he's at. He's going for the Intercontinental Championship, but they're throwing these dumbass gimmicks on him every now and then, and it's not working. He had one of the best runs with Tyson Kidd, and then he gets injured, so Cesaro is left to fend for himself, and pulls a win over Rusev, and has a great push, but they don't know what to do with them, so they push him in these idiotic rivalries. And now it's with The Miz. But going back to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they had one of the best rivalries in NXT. Kevin Owens turns on him, shocking everybody.
Well, for me being a big fan back when he was Kevin Steen.
Oh yeah.
I kind of knew where this was going, and I was just glad to see it in that stage. I seriously doubt they're going to do the same. They are going to have the same kind of foresight to do the finish that they did at a Takeover Rival.
Yes, Takeover Rivals. I was trying to think of what the name of that one was. We were talking about it earlier, NXT Takeover Rivals. That was the first NXT event I ever watched. I'm being truthful here. I never really watched. I was a casual viewer, and then I'm like, you know what? I'll start watching Takeover. And I heard everybody saying, you have to watch Rival now. I hear it all over Twitter. I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. I flip it on. First match that I watched was Charlotte versus Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's Champion. One of the best matches I ever seen. And then I went back, rewinded to Kevin Owens beating the hippie up, and
that was that whole thing with the hippie. That wasn't a Rival. That was Our Evolution.
I know it was, but that was Our Evolution. Sorry.
Rival was where they did that match with
Owens beating Sami Zayn into ref calling the match over.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Our Evolution's one I was thinking of. That was the first one I ever watched. I got the two mixed up again. There have been so many takeovers I can't really separate them at times. But yes, Rivals, it ended with Kevin Owens beating Sami Zayn, which was a great finish to that whole rivalry. And then it pushed on to Finn Balor and Kevin Owens, which turned out really good. But yes, who do you think will come out on top, Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn?
I think the two of them are probably going to end up having the best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
As far as who's going to come out on top of that, I think I think since now obviously this is not going to be the blow off of their match.
No. This is the build-up. And I have a feeling there's going to be 2 more matches. I think it's going to end at SummerSlam. They're going to end
this is the kind of thing that's going to that needs to have its blow off at one of the big 4.
The big 4: WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of the names. Yeah, and it's going to end at SummerSlam. That's where they end it.
But as far as this goes, I think Zayn needs the win in this case.
Mm-hmm.
But what I end up getting the feeling is going to happen is that it's a case where I think the psychology of the match is going to be that Owens is just beating the ever loving shit out of him, but Sami just won't stay dead.
Mm-hmm. And I hope it's like it's going to be. I don't think it'll ever be in the style like Zayn versus Nakamura. I don't think it'll ever get that good, but here's hoping it does. We can always hope. Mm-hmm. I don't think the WWE will something that extreme.
I'd like to hope that they don't do that. That nobody tries to do a table spot or anything because this match doesn't need it.
No. It just needs brutality, and Kevin Owens doesn't need a table to show how brutal he could get. Heck, his finisher's a pop-up powerbomb. I think that's enough of a devastating finisher.
Well, it's only because they didn't let him keep the pile driver that he used.
Yeah, because pile drivers are freaking dangerous. I agree. Look what happened. Stone Cold Steve Austin is not wrestling anymore because of a pile driver. Because of a botched pile driver. You have to be very careful with that finisher.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm fully aware that shit can happen in the ring. And as has been said many times over the years, it's not ballet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I hope this match will be great, but we're not sure. Next coming up is Vince McMahon is going to figure out who's going to be in charge of Monday Night Raw, Stephanie or Shane.
To be quite honest, if they're smart about this, they should do it because there have been hints that have been dropped that the whole authority thing is on its way out. So the smart thing to do would be to end it and have Shane run and go with the whole have a babyface manager for once.
Mm-hmm. There's talk, and I'm don't mark my words on this one, but there is so much talk about a brand split.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
I'm not sure either. It'd be pretty cool to see the brand split happen again, but they don't have enough wrestlers for there to be a brand split that are healthy enough.
Not to mention they're too cheap to try and do. With the brand split the last time, to its credit, at least if you look at the stage setup, even though it is fairly similar, there was at least an attempt to make the entrance stage look different. I mean,
yes,
Raw had the I don't want to say
Titantron. It had that that Titantron type of thing. SmackDown had that giant fist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that really well. But right now, they have too many people suspended, like Adam Rose. Bray Wyatt's injured as well, which I didn't know till I just looked at this. They have a lot of people to do it. They have a lot of people on the roster. Right now, the WWE could use it. Seth Rollins is out. Randy Orton's out.
From what I'm hearing, Randy Orton might end up being relegated to part-time.
Yeah. Cena
has been injury prone for the last year.
Yeah. And it'd be better if they do it. I don't know if they'll ever do SmackDown versus Raw again. It'd probably be NXT versus Raw. which they need to do.
Well,
which should be
I know that Triple H has many times talking about making NXT a third brand.
Yeah. Which should be good. It would be great seeing NXT just give them a run for their money. Basically have them like, are you a SmackDown fan or a Raw fan type of thing. They need to bring that back because they need to get fan interest back in this, like the type of rivalries. The only reason why they did the original was because WCW was no longer there.
Because they had too big of a roster. But if they're going to do it, they have to go all the way with it, and that means limiting who's going to be showing up where.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., no crossover. Period.
No, none whatsoever, unless it's going to be kind of like unless it's going to be like that rivalry with Bischoff and Stephanie back in 2002, where it was like he would somehow appear on SmackDown with the whatever the hell the tag team, that Samoan tag team was.
3-minute warning.
3-minute warning, yes. 3-minute warning. How he attacked him several times with 3-minute warning on episodes of SmackDown. But that was a Bischoff invasion thing that he always did. But I think the brand split would be a good idea to a point, because it would have this like rivalry between Shane and Stephanie, just that like which one's better type of thing. And they could relegate each paper. They could have like the separate pay-per-views. There'd be the 4 big ones, and Raw and SmackDown has their own pay-per-views in between. They could go back to that. But I don't think they will.
They probably won't. But I do think that the possibility is there. But in all likelihood, what's probably going to happen with that is that obviously the smart thing to do is have one of them have basically one of them off television, kill the whole authority thing, and have a babyface manager.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was and one of the things they have to get rid of is the TV PG thing. They need to end that.
That is not going to be ending anytime soon.
Yes, and that video right there proves it all. I just posted. It's where Shane McMahon's son screamed bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie's face is like, oh God. And Linda was standing right there. It's funny because those two were in there with Shane's son, and he was screaming bullshit, and it was actually pretty funny as hell that he was actually saying that.
It is a sad state of affairs when merely saying that is enough to get a reaction.
Mm-hmm. And then they said, fuck PG, and she had the like smirk, yep, I agree with you guys. The fans said that, and I'm hoping that gets to their heads that whole thing at NXT Dallas might take over. Dallas might get to their heads because that ending was stupid.
I didn't mind the ending to the match itself, but all those interruptions basically murdered any momentum that you could have had.
Yeah, and then Samoa Joe beat Sami Zayn, or no, Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor at a freaking live show, out of all things. Which he should have. I think they did that just because I don't know why they did that. I think they did it because he was probably supposed to win at Dallas, but he didn't. Who knows? But yes, moving on now. Do you think a brand split's a good idea, or
if they're able to use the full amount and not try and actually go, if they went back to using local jobbers instead of having specific jobbers on their roster?
Oh yeah,
having somebody who happens to be an independent worker in that specific area,
like what NXT does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that as well. The only way I could see the brand split working is if they put some of the NXT guys up on the main roster, which they need to because they have a lot of trainees on there as well. They have a lot of people they need to move forward, so they can't just keep them on NXT forever. They have Shinsuke Nakamura on there, so he could be one of the tops. They have that chance. He could be one of the top heels on SmackDown or Raw, so they have a chance, but it's just a matter of the WWE actually doing it. That's my opinion. Anything else?
Trying to think with the. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay, got that one. Oh yeah, Natalia. There's the next as far as the whole brand split idea. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've got anything more to add on that. See what's next on the card.
Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Jericho does not need to go over for this.
No, he doesn't.
Then again, I said that Jericho didn't need to go over at WrestleMania.
But he did. I think it was just like one final Mania present to Jericho. I mean, he's 45 years old, for crying out loud.
To be quite honest, he gets a lot. He seems to get a lot more out of the stuff he does for his podcast and touring with Fozzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't really need to do that anymore.
Yeah, but with Chris Jericho, the whole thing with Chris Jericho being what he's doing is he was hot back in the day. I remember back in the 90s when he first appeared and had that shouting match with The Rock. That was still one of the best moments in Raw, and I don't think, and he had that WrestleMania moment with Triple H, even though they had to, before that it was The Rock versus Hogan, which is a dumb idea. And then before that, and then after all that stuff with Chris Jericho, he had I think a 7-title win. He won several different times with the main championship. 7-time world championship.
It was Intercontinental. He won that 9 times. The thing of it is when it comes to him, it's like they never were willing to pull the full trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because small guy.
Mm-hmm.
But moreover, Jericho. The big problem that I have is this whole thing of why is it's admittedly he's probably the most active of any part-timer they have. It's not like it's Rock or Undertaker or something where they only show up for one time a year to take the big payday.
He's that go-to guy if something happens. Like if there's an injury that comes up, call in Chris Jericho. If you need filler for a live event, call in Chris Jericho. That's what I've noticed of him over the last few years. Bray Wyatt needs rivalry to put him over. Call in Chris Jericho.
Yep. Now that said, I do think that there are ways to use him better when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, Ambrose needs to build himself back up after that whole Brock Lesnar loss.
Oh God,
that was a massive disappointment.
You should have used the weapons. Ambrose right now is the popular. He has more push behind them than Lesnar.
Yeah, to be quite honest,
Lesnar, I meant not
that
Lesnar,
match at WrestleMania felt like it was nothing but a Brock Lesnar showcase. And
mm-hmm.
Ambrose I think needs to build himself back up,
mm-hmm.
and because of that, I think he needs to go over Jericho.
Yes, he definitely needs to go over Jericho. So that's all I got to say about Ambrose, and he needs to win this match. I'm hoping he wins it, but WWE has screwed over their talent before, so no. Here's hoping, but I'm not giving any promises. Next match: Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains, English and Gotch. Amore and Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that one?
This is going to be an interesting match. This is
NXT originals.
Mm-hmm. This is hopefully going to be a fun match. I do get the feeling that now the Vaudevillains, I don't see winning this. It's because Enzo and Cass are definitely the more popular team.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against the Vaudevillains, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they had that amazing spot with Leva Bates or Blue Pants. I call her Leva. They had that amazing spot with Leva Bates back in last year at what's it called? At Brooklyn, NXT Brooklyn, Takeover Brooklyn. They had that amazing spot with her where they dethroned Blake and Murphy, but yeah, I'm not. But they lost all push after that when they lost it to the rival.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Enzo and Cass, I gotta say they really need this win. They really do need this win. They never won the titles in NXT, so I think as a tag team, they need this win. They need to have that. They need to go over on New Day. If any team that could go over on New Day, it would be these two.
Yep.
And then it pushes the rivalry with the Dudley Boys forward.
Now that said, I do get the feeling that we're going to get some kind of New Day segment after the match.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope they do a New Day segment. They're the best thing. They're one of the best things that WWE tag teams WWE ever did in a long time. My personal opinion, but that's just my opinion about New Day.
Yep.
So I think Enzo and Cass will come over on top unless Dudley's come in and interrupt. But I don't think that will happen. Next match. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's only the smart way would be to have Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy go over, and then you do a match. The stupid way is to have it that the Dudleys interfere, and it gets turned into a 4-way.
Oh God. Yeah. We're not really sure how it's going to end. And I'm hoping Enzo and Cass come out on top and the Dudleys just come afterwards to congratulate them their way with the table. That'd be the only way they could do that, which would further this rivalry after they dethrone New Day, and when they dethrone New Day. If and when they dethrone New Day, then they're going to have a rivalry with the Dudleys. That'd be a perfect rivalry. But yeah, I think Enzo and Cass will come out on top. You think the same way?
Yeah.
Different. Yeah. Same here. Moving on now. Next match. There's 2 more matches to cover. Next one is Charlotte with her dad, Ric Flair, versus Natalya with her uncle, Bret Hart. Now, Natalya is the daughter of Jimmy Neidhart. So her father and uncle have had this long-standing partnership and long-standing tag team in the past, back in the past with the WWE. So she has her uncle with her this time. I was surprised it wasn't her father, but I think her uncle's much more recognizable than her father is. So Bret Hart, which I don't think he's in any condition to be out there because this man has cancer. I don't know if he still has it or not, but Bret Hart just recently was diagnosed with cancer, and he had surgery just not too long ago. So I don't think Bret should be out there. I do
not think it's a good idea to have him out there.
No, it's not at all. he's in no health at all for prostate cancer. That's what he has. He has he's supposedly beaten the disease and he had a surgery, but he's in no shape to go out there and fight Ric Flair. Heck, Ric Flair is far older and probably even much more frail with Rick than Brett is, but Flair has a better chance of not getting injured like Rick does or like Brett does. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think it should have been Natalia's father that should have came out and supported her, not Brett.
Well, Neidhart isn't all that well known in the eyes of a lot of people because a lot of the people who are watching this are probably not going to be familiar with the Hart Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy Neidhart is he's basically everybody thought Jimmy Neidhart was going to be the one that would have went over during the Hart Foundation tag team, but instead it was Brett. Everybody thought it was him. He had much more
size.
He had much more of a personality, let's say it, during that team up. But Brett was viewed as much more of the cooler guys, so they put him up instead.
Well, at that point in time, they were looking for somebody who wasn't going to look as big because of the whole thing with the steroid trial.
Oh yes, I could see that as well. But yeah, that should have been the case because Brett's, like how we were saying, Brett's in no shape to go out there even to be ringside. I don't think Brett's in any shape.
Yeah,
they never even had Seth Rollins appear ringside. So yes, he has a damaged knee, but Brett is He's not
somebody who can really.
He's a 58-year-old man who had prostate surgery. So well, I don't think he should be ringside.
Not only that, but he's had to deal with multiple concussion syndrome. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think Jimmy Neidhart is in better health than Bret Hart is, but and could actually be at ringside. Heck, I'm going to be at Big Time Wrestling. Mick Foley's going to be at ringside in Missoula, Montana next month, which would be awesome to see. He'll be the ring enforcer. So, so I don't think Bret Hart's in shape, but I think Charlotte's going to come out and top. Everybody is saying it. I think it as well. They're doing that cowardly champion run for Charlotte. They're doing the coward championship run where she can't win by clean victory. That's what coward championship run means, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ideally, I'd like to see Charlotte get a victory for once without interference.
Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be the case.
Mm-hmm. So I do
that's
think
how it's
win by
been
interference.
That's how it's been with the Women's and Divas Championship over the last year. It's been like over the last year and a half. It's been Nikki Bella winning because of her sister helping her out, and it's been Charlotte winning because of her dad helping her out. And it's like, enough with the cowardly championship runs. I mean, seriously, you're trying to make the women's division look tough, but you're making the women look, you're making them all look like chumps because of the whole cowardly championship thing.
The cowardly champion can work, but it's a case where they overdo it for that division. Mm-hmm. However, I will say that I am still very, very thankful that the butterfly belt is still dead.
Oh yes. Oh God. The Divas Championship, the Bratz accessory. That's what it's called. I call it the Bratz accessory because it looks like something you would see off of Bratz. And so originally the Divas Championship was designed because of the brand split. They needed one for SmackDown, and then they unified the Women's Championship with the Divas Championship back in 2010, and it stayed the butterfly belt ever since then until last WrestleMania. So I'm kind of glad they changed it. They changed it more to the WWE Championship style, but they made it a little bit smaller, and it a white belt. So, I kind of like that belt, but I do think Charlotte will come out on top this time, and it will be, we're hoping that it will be a clean win, but I don't think it really will. And I'm just being realistic here. I don't think it will be a clean victory. They've been painting her off as getting away. Unless Charlotte's going to prove herself, that'll be the only way she'd ever get a clean victory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Final match, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. For those that are watching this, keep your eyes on this one. Especially keep your eyes on this one, because we might see the Bullet Club come out.
Yeah. It's unknown whether... I know that supposedly there was that promo that Finn Balor had cut that he's staying in NXT.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I think he just did that just so he could throw everybody off. I heavily think that Gallows and Anderson might jump out. We know they're going to come out. They've been doing it. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, a.k.a. Which one was Festus again?
I will not talk about Festus.
Yes, Jesse and Festus. For those who watched wrestling WWE back in 2006 to 2009, there was this tag team called Jesse and Festus. Oh my God! It was still, and Doc, and it was Andrew. It was Luke Gallows that was Festus. It was like this really. It was like a mentally challenged character that he played, and it was just really. It was really weird to watch. It was possibly one of the worst gimmicks I've seen ever. The hillbilly run type of thing. And I'm kind of glad they threw that one on its side. And I bet they're never going to talk about that one again. They never even talk about it on the network with their countdowns or anything like that. They never talk about those two. And I think this is the reason why they have Luke Gallows, and they don't want to ever remember him as being... Yes, they've talked about Kane's original character, what the hell was his name? Isaac Yankem. They talked about that one several times, but I don't think they'll ever admit to this one ever existing. But yeah, so who do you think will come out on top? Reigns or...
Given that's ideally, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see AJ Styles come out on top, and have him. I get the feeling that what they're going to do is have Gallows and Anderson show up, and AJ Styles ends up turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they're trying so hard to have Reigns be the top babyface. But now, if I recall, Payback this year is taking place in Chicago.
Yep.
This is going to make things interesting, because that is one match that I'm going to be watching strictly for the crowd reaction, because they are...
How many CM Punk chants will you hear tonight?
I'm not sure if we're going to... It depends on how boring the match gets.
Oh, yes.
Because we only seem to hear those kind of chants whenever there would be the kind of match that's the equivalent of demanding a Mexican wave.
Yep. Oh God, I'm just waiting for. I don't even know anymore of how this is going to turn out. I think Reigns is going to come out on top. It'd be nice to see AJ come out on top, but they're trying to make him this face. Roman Reigns is their face. But I love how someone said it. They would love to see John Cena come out as a heel, which would be good to see, but I don't think that'll ever happen either.
No, that's never happening.
Like how Adam Blankish, Adam from What Culture said it best. It'd be like trying to churn a cargo ship into chocolate. It's impossible. But yeah, Roman Reigns is going to come out on top. AJ Styles. One or two things, a couple things can happen here. One is Gallows and Anderson come out and screw him over, which is definitely it's going to happen. Is they're going to screw Styles over because they threw him out. They threw him out of the Bullet Club last time. For those that don't know, they threw AJ Styles out.
Yep.
And Prince Devitt, or how most people know him as Baron or Finn Balor might come out and join up with them. Who knows? We're not sure yet. We might see a return of the Bullet Club being led by Finn Balor, and I don't expect to see Austin Aries a part of it at all.
No,
Meaning I don't see it happening, but who knows? WWE has done dumber things before. I've seen dumber things come out of them, and so Roman Reigns will come out on top. Maybe it might be the Bullet Club. Maybe it might not be. Who knows? So that's all I gotta say about that. Any predictions from you besides this whole event, the whole things we went down list over?
I think that I do not see this as being a clean win. I see a lot of shenanigans going down.
Mm-hmm. But what I see from this pay-per-view is it can't do any worse than WrestleMania 22.
22 or 32?
32, sorry. 32. I don't know where the 20 came from. WrestleMania, it can't do worse than 32. Or 27. There's the 20 that I was talking about. You can't do any worse than that. That's all I can say.
No, you can't.
Mm-mm. So they have nothing to lose with this event. But that's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do get the feeling that the pay-per-view overall is going to be better than WrestleMania.
Yeah, it will be better, which is terrible to say because that WrestleMania had the largest crowd they've ever had at a pay-per-view. Or one of the largest crowds they've ever had. So it'll be crazy to see what happens. So, I don't have much else to say about this event. Do you have anything else? Any other predictions that might happen? Any other stupid predictions I will just jump up?
I can safely say that I think at the end I will make a joke that the show needs more Shibaters.
Yes, I have one thing. I have been looking forward to that one show that they have on the network, that Camp WWE thing, because it's being made by Seth Green. So here's hoping that turns out good.
I'm mixed about that, mostly because I saw the thing and I immediately thought, oh fuck, this is gonna be another Brickleberry, isn't it?
Who knows? I'm expected to see it. I'm expecting to see one or two things. It's going to either be a very comical show or it's going to be a flop. There's no in between with this show. And that's all I got to say about that. And that's like the premiere they're having tonight. So it looks funny. I get the premise behind it. Vince McMahon just being this crazy camp owner of a camp. And I would love to see where it would go from there. But I don't have much more to say about this. Do you, Mildred?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream right here, guys. I've been your host, Leon Gunn, still with Mildred the Monk, and earlier today, Quabe Dollar. We'll be seeing you guys later.